Hey, welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. I hope you're doing well there. If you guys could subscribe, that'd be great, and appreciate you stopping by the channel, which, been a couple of things that have been kicking around heat ether over the last couple of days, and I actually wanted to look into something here because I do like keeping an eye on this stuff. Eric Reed has made me a big fan of this, which is, record chasing. We had a lot of fun last year. Bam Adebayo chasing down Ronnie Cycli for the double-doubles record. I mentioned a couple videos back that he is probably 2 years away from catching Udonis Haslem for the all-time rebounding record. I would imagine it's going to take him 2 years to get there based on his pace of things. But I actually went into this video today. I was looking at Tyler Herro and where does he stand on all-time scoring? Because I was curious. I was like, I wonder how many guys Tyler Herro can pass. Last year, Tyler Herro had a career-high 1,840 points in 77 games. So being available for the game certainly made a big difference for him. But also the idea that he was available. He was the leading scorer on the team. But last year, when it came to his total points, got it to over 1,800. To that point before that, it was in 21-22 when he scored 1,367, which was a year that he was the sixth man of the year. So was curious to see where Tyler Herro was going to end up in scoring if he had a year like that this year. And I actually was like, I didn't even realize that Bam Adebayo is going to be on his own chase this year when it comes to Miami Heat all-time scoring. And he's probably going to hit a landmark that has only been done by Dwyane Wade, which is pretty cool. But Tyler Herro, so I'm going to start off with Herro because Tyler Herro is going to go into this year. And for those who don't know, he is at 6,987 career points. So he is 932 points away from matching LeBron James. Based on Tyler Herro's repertoire of seasons, as long as Tyler Herro plays about 50 games this year, as long as he plays like 55-ish games this year, it'd be pretty hard to imagine that he would not eclipse that mark. There have been years where he's only put up like 800 points, 743 points. But these are years where either he only played about 50-plus games, his minutes were a lot different. He was in his first and second years. And then you had the 23-24 season where he only played 42 games, which was a career low for him. But in the other years where he's actually played a good chunk of games where he would have qualified for awards, he did win an award for All-NBA, was an All-Star. These are the years that he played 66, 67, 77. He has been about 1,300 points, and then 1,800 points and change on all those years, which would mean that Tyler Herro is likely going to finish this year ahead of LeBron James. Currently, LeBron James, 7,919 points for fifth all-time. Tyler Herro is currently sixth. He passed Chris Bosh this year for seventh. Ronnie Cycli's eighth. Jimmy Butler is ninth. Jimmy Butler being on this list as low as he is in regular season is a little amusing, but it just kind of shows that Jimmy Butler was not a regular season scorer. He did all of his damage in the playoffs. I bet you if we were to go to playoff points and postseason records, Jimmy Butler would be like littered all over this. But the fact that Jimmy Butler had as many damaging years as he did with the Miami Heat, being as good as he was for the Miami Heat, and he didn't even pass Chris Bosh is pretty crazy. But that being said, Tyler Herro is currently sits at sixth in all-time scoring, but he can become top five all-time and pass LeBron James this year with 933 points. Needs 932 to match him for fifth all-time. So Tyler Herro, I would say quite likely, is going to become the Miami Heat's fifth all-time leading scorer. Now we'll pass the baton over because number 4 on the list is Bam Adebayo. And Bam currently about a little under 2,000 points ahead of Tyler Herro. So Tyler's not going to catch Bam this year. And Bam is likely, based on his resume, likely going to pass two Miami Heat legends and probably become the Miami Heat's second all-time leading scorer this season. Bam Adebayo currently sits at 8,923 points. So that is a boatload. He currently sits fourth all-time. And this year, he is 325 points from tying Glen Rice for third all-time in Miami Heat scoring, which he's for sure going to do. He is then 536 points away from being second all-time to Alonzo Mourning, which I would say, again, 536 points, that's easy work for Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo, for those who want reference, his last 3 years of total points scoring. This past year, he put up 1,410 points, which was the second most in his career. The year before that, 1,367 points. The year before that was a career high when the Miami Heat made the finals in 75 games, 1,529 points. The year before that, he had a match of 1,068. That was his lowest career games total when he had the thumb injury. Before that, just a shade over 1,200 points. And his first full year of starting for the Miami Heat, he put up 1,146 points. So if we put this conservatively at 1,200 points for Bam Adebayo is not only going to become the Miami Heat's second all-time leading scorer, but Bam Adebayo is 1,077 points away from becoming just the second player in franchise history to reach 10,000 career points, a mark that has only been hit by Dwyane Wade. Dwyane Wade's all-time leading mark of 21,556 points. 21,556 points by Dwyane Wade. After him is Alonzo Mourning at 9,459. Glen Rice, 9,248. Bam Adebayo is knocking on the door of 9,000. He could get that with a good week and a half if he wanted to, with 8,923. And yeah, he is very likely. So I went into this thing. I was like, I wonder where. I didn't even think about Bam, and I should have, because, you know, as Erica Reed says, you know, with every Heat legend he passes, more of a Heat legend he becomes. Yeah, Bam is more likely than not, outside of kidnapping and catastrophic injury, going to become not only the Miami Heat's second all-time leading scorer, but very likely is going to be just the second Heat player to reach 10,000 career points in their Heat career, which is pretty astonishing. That's really, really cool. Those are pretty cool marks for these guys to both reach, because, you know, you're talking about the real pantheon of this franchise. And look, it speaks to what those guys have done, and I understand what's going to be said on the other one, on the snarkiness of it, is people are going to be like, well, you know, they still, you know, there's a lot of guys on that list. They got to get the actual big trophy, which, you know, they have not gotten. Bam has been vital in a lot of the teams that have gotten far, but they haven't gotten over the hump. Tyler Herro, vital in the first finals run, hasn't been as vital in the other deep runs. Both of these guys have taken big KOs on the chin in the first round these last couple of years. So as they go and hit these incredible marks in the franchise, it'll also be critical to see what can they do on the other side and in the postseason pantheon for their franchises. Tyler Herro also has a chance this year. He could break Duncan Robinson's all-time three-point makes record, although I would probably think that with Norman Powell here, there's a chance that could go down. He did break the record in attempts this year. Tyler Herro did break the record in attempts all-time from three-point land, but Duncan Robinson's record of 270 makes was missed by 19 for Tyler Herro. Tyler Herro finished with 251 threes. And I know there's been a lot of fodder online about his extension lately, which I kind of find to be pointless, because I feel like all the drama of that has already been answered. You know, there's a lot of people who are out here saying that Tyler Herro, he's going to be seeking $40 million, $41 million, you know, whatever. First of all, I think Tyler Herro is pretty honest that he's seeking the max. I don't think Tyler Herro's out here seeking $40 million. Tyler Herro was very honest when he was out front and he was talking about his extension, and he said, we can get it done. If we don't, it's just going to be more expensive. I thought that was a pretty unsubtle code at, it's either 3-year max or 4-year max. That's the way that I read that from Tyler Herro, which, by the way, I, 1, love that answer, and 2, have no problem with the player having confidence in themselves. So let's just put that to bed. I also don't think that $40 million in today's NBA for Tyler Herro, it's not a ridiculous number, especially if you do see the numbers that are kicked around. And I know that this was sparked by the Mikal Bridges extension, where he got just a tick under 40. And if you look at Herro's accomplishments, Mikal Bridges' accomplishments, Tyler Herro has probably every right to think that I should be a $40 million player. I really don't think that's where the drama is going to be. I think if Tyler Herro wanted a $40 million extension, in my opinion, I think the Heat would probably be cool with that. It's a question of if he becomes a $50 million plus player, and would the Heat go into and venture into that territory? Because I think that's what Tyler Herro has shown what he is aiming for. Now, if this extension comes and goes and there is no drama, which Pat Riley said, we're cool. Tyler Herro says we're cool. I actually think that if this does become a question of Tyler Herro having a monster season and proves himself to be that kind of a player, I actually think that could be a good thing for the Miami Heat. I think this actually is a good, healthy year where there's motivation, because this is not a guy who is going to be aging out of the type of money he's going to be making, the production that he's going to be putting up. One of the things that scared the Heat off with Jimmy Butler, people could put behavior on it. They could put whatever concoction they want to. The Heat were scared of Jimmy Butler aging before their very eyes and paying him $60 million, and he was out there going to be looking like a 60-year-old in the court. That's the scariest thing, and it wasn't really talked about enough. We talked so much about media obligations and appearances and who he wanted to talk to and all that. But the facts of it are, whether he fully embraced being the face of the Heat or not, and all the stuff that was thrown out there, the biggest thing that the Heat were scared of is at 37 years old, paying him that exorbitant salary for that year. With the Tyler extension, you're not really worried about that because, he's a baby. What is that going to be? He's going to be 31 by the time it's all said and done. So I don't think that's something that you are too worried about. Now, one thing that you can say, though, Tyler Herro has had his own durability issues that he did put away last year, and hopefully that will continue to be a thing where all the kind of bad luck stuff is no longer an issue for him. But this is, this is also one of the things that we're going to have to watch out for. But I thought, looking into this, seeing where these two guys are at, it is fascinating because they're about to put themselves in some names this year that's real royalty of Miami Heat fans. And 1, that should be appreciated, that should be commended, and 2, it should also speak to there's a big responsibility for both of those guys that comes with that as far as the expectations of those franchises. Because outside of Glen Rice, all of the other names that I mentioned, and Glen was basically the harpoon to get one of the biggest orcas in franchise history. Outside of Glen Rice, a lot of the names that I read you, champions, greats, legends. And so these two individuals, being the Heat's face of the franchise, are going to hit these incredible marks this year. And then you would love to see it followed up with some great postseason success. And you hope the roster, that they're in a better position to lead it, and that this roster is in a better position to support them this year too.